Good morning to each and every one of you out there. It's a beautiful day. It's a Friday. They say it's TGIF. Yes, it is. And of course, I am Jemai Manson, and this is Global Morning. I hope you're having so far so good. The weather is cool and calm. It's amazing, and a lot of things are happening in the world of politics, in the world of a lot of things are happening in Compass, basically. And of course, I am not doing this alone. I have my co-host, who is also my amazing colleague, someone I really like. I like her style. I like the way she is. She's quiet, soft-spoken, and very kind. She is very, very kind. No other person than the beautiful Priscilla Obasi is here.
Do we give a standing ovation?
Yes, we should.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing, Priscilla? It's great to have you here.
I'm amazing, and you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
We thank God. We thank God.
Good morning to you. Good morning to our viewers. TGIF.
Yes, right. It is.
What does TGIF mean to you? I mean, how do you look forward to the Friday or the weekend generally?
But the thing is, for people like us in this particular industry that we find ourselves, we do not actually, we work every other day. We work every single day. When it comes Fridays, for other people will be happy. This Friday, I get to rest Saturday and Sunday. But some of us, we still come to work. I'm sure you, of course, you know how it is.
Absolutely,
I still work.
Absolutely. But then there's this atmosphere that comes with the weekend. It's not
really?
The whole busy. Yeah, you're going to, if you're someone that have, to find your way to work, you notice that the road is not so, choked as the week, But then weekends come with its calm in a way, right? It just has a way of just making you relax. Even with the whole work and everything.
That's true.
I always look forward to weekend. And then for people that have children, that you tend not to work again. The end of the week has come. And I mean, amazingly, the holidays are here already.
Yes, funny enough, the holidays are drawing near for some vacation. Yes, they're going to be on vacation, like maybe in 2 weeks' time, or some have even started, I think.
Absolutely. I was going to say, I don't know how we got to that point where we're having different schools with different holidays, different calendars,
different
graduations. These things used to be
in sync
before now. But what's happening? Is it that we're having more private schools? I really don't know. But there really needs to, they really need to look into this. I mean, we need to have that synergy with. Imagine that you have two children and both of them are going to different schools, because it happens, right?
Yes,
and then you have to wrap up or pipe down for one and then still be in that mood for the other. Because I saw a mother the other day. I don't know why parents do that though. I saw a mother the other day. I know there are lots of factors. And she said, my first one has started exams. The other one is in school. The other one's at home. Like, how do you cope? How do you have to go through the...
I'm telling you.
But I know you have your experience of all of that.
Of course I do. We all do. I think it works in you have to just create that balance, basically. What works for you is, but at the same time, it has to work. It has no choice.
You don't have a choice.
The way you have to balance it. I think this whole thing started during COVID. I think that was when there was just that shaking, that educational era and all of that. Schools trying to catch up. Some were trying to, there's no way. Some have been laid back.
There's some that had to go online. They didn't miss anything.
But some missed a lot. So I think that whole time affected the timing now that but at the same time, insecurity has caused that, because for communities that are affected by banditry, the news I read this morning, they are shut down and this is like 7 months, till when there is security in that. And you wonder,
what would that be?
What other alternatives do the government have for these children? These are our future leaders, and it concerns them because there's a particular curriculum, there's a calendar, and for them, they are missing out on graduations, exams. It's really sad, Priscilla, that this is where we are now in Nigeria, and you just wonder and say to yourself, when would this evil, this menace, this scourge come to an end? And you wonder, you just shake your head and you say, this is where we are. It's just unfortunate. But hopefully the needful is done. I always say, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Let's be hopeful. We're Nigerians. Let's be positive.
At this point, we need to hold our torchlights and enter the tunnel. Because it's in a safe. Sarcastic. Because I mean, it's sad that every day you wake up and you take up, the papers, read the news of the internet. There's just one bad news or the other.
It is
to see. Sometimes the only way to protect your sanity and mental health is just to stay away from news. In Nigeria,
I think so. Yes, it's just the fear, Priscilla. It's the fear. I know some very individuals who are much older, they say, Jumai, the truth is I don't listen to news anymore because I don't want my BP to go up and I don't want to get scared because I may be safe. But how about that family member I have in this particular community, or this or that? And it's just scary to read, scary to watch, and scary to see. And you just wonder. And of course, our security agencies are doing their best. I know military personnel who are in the forefront. It's not easy. It takes a toll, Priscilla. Believe me, I have been there, so I would tell you for fact.
You're the best person to answer this question. Someone was asking recently, and the person said, it looks like the police is doing better now than our soldiers. I don't know what you think about that.
No, I think everyone is working in their own capacity. You cannot even compare. Do you understand what it is? But I'm saying it because I understand the army aspect, because I was married to an army officer. And then the thing is, you understand that everyone has their own uniqueness. They have ways of combating this particular insecurity. They are in the forefront. My husband, when he was alive, was in Sambisa itself. They were close, exactly. They were in danger zone. So you can imagine. And a police officer, I don't know if they are, but it's only the army officers and of course the soldiers that are there.
Some police officers, we saw on the news the other day that some police officers were able to even rescue some kidnapped victims. And the only way I looked at
but that's not in the forefront of the war where it's happening.
Yeah, the way I looked at it was maybe soldiers wait for orders more than policemen. I don't know how it works with the police.
Everyone waits for orders. Everyone.
But it looks as if it's more strict in the military terrain than in the the police officers. I know maybe the protocol is not so long with police officers, and maybe there is more stringent, rigid, strict protocol with the military. I really don't know. You are the source.
First of all, I'm not in the military. I was just married to one.
Yeah.
But from what I have seen, you have to follow orders from your superior. It's a norm. You cannot go ahead of yourself. If you have a commander, like my husband was the garrison commander at one point, was it Lokoja or Ilori, but he had to be in Northeast at that point in time because they were deployed. They had to all go there and all of that. But the thing is, you cannot go ahead of yourself when you have a brigadier in your midst, you have a colonel in your midst, and then you, the lower hierarchy. It's a hierarchy. You must follow. You must. Is he commander or CO now? I'm trying to remember.
Christopher Musa has said, okay, do not wait for commands anywhere. You guys just do what you got to do to make sure we end insecurity. And then we're still hearing orders and no orders and all of this. And I feel like Nigeria, we've gone past all of this. There's so much technology advancement, The world has evolved, but
we
have, because really every now and then you see that EFCC is tracking people to their houses and busting their houses based on information. It's almost as if it's an easy thing for them. You just see. I don't know bad guys like that though. But you check their website or you check their socials, and then you're seeing that they've caught this one. They've been able to get hold of another person basically because they're involved in crime. And I'm wondering, is it not the same intelligence we have? Like our soldiers, our military, are they not trained in this with the capacity that the EFCC officials have been trained with? What is the problem? We have advanced. If a civilian, for example, we saw on this internet, or we saw in Nigeria a time where somebody called or insulted the president and he named the president after his dog after the president.
Really?
Yes, and then he was stressed. He was arrested. He was cutting. So is it basically because they are dealing with civilians that do not have sophistication? Well, maybe these bandits are more sophisticated than our soldiers. Should we accept that as a norm? Are we? At
the point it was rumored as that. There was a rumor at one point, I think how many years back, that these bandits have more sophisticated weaponry compared to the military at a point.
Okay.
Of course, because with what they were doing a lot of things. But at the same time, I think, I asked a guest here on Global Morning, and I said something. I said, when you talk about technology, do you think Nigeria, we've gotten to that point where we are evolving with the world? And he says, For as much as the world is evolving, we know what is happening, but we've not gotten to that part yet.
I really do not agree. Maybe the private sector, maybe the government.
I don't know.
I don't know. But I see a lot of smart guys in Nigeria. I mean, tech
guys.
And their capacity is top notch. They are competing. We go outside the world now. We travel around. We are recognized. I mean, private individuals.
Yeah.
They go out. They do amazing stuff. They do a lot of exploits. When we come back to Nigeria, we have agencies, institutions, parastatals that are not willing to. I don't know if it's a case of not willing to invest. For example, let's look at INEC. Mm-hmm. INEC is the umpire, as they call it, of our elections. Yes. And we are still having issues with beavers. What is beavers? People are making phones. Look at individuals. Go online. I saw the other day somebody on the internet making keke. A Nigerian.
I'm telling you, I was shocked.
Making cars. A Nigerian. I had a friend in school. I finished from the Federal University of Technology, Mina, and someone was able to construct a car.
Can you
in
imagine?
School. So what are we saying? What happens to investing in this personality? What happens to calling this set of individuals that are doing amazing and just look for a way to empower them or infuse them into the system so that they come with their knowledge, with their capacity,
making a difference.
And make a difference.
Back in the day, I think there was like a competition that there was this particular news. I don't know if it was in NTA. There was a particular segment where students there was this innovation that will happen, and we never heard about those children anymore. Some made fantastic generators or some robots, and then we just heard oh my goodness, this is in Nigeria, this is so nice, and that was the end. But places like the United States, United Kingdom, outside the shores of Nigeria, they make use of those particular. China.
Yeah.
You see little kids who know how to
couple phones together. They're the ones they are basically the ones coupling the phones we use and we're excited about. Exactly. So we're just a consumer country. And it is not because we don't have the talent. It's basically because we have a government that's not willing to invest in the talent. Sadly, that's the reality.
Yeah, sadly, that's the reality. But hopefully the need for reason. Like I always tell my co-host, okay, you're not my co-host. You are. I tell my co-host that I think when we are in a particular position, we need to understand our terms of reference. Some of us don't know our TORs. Maybe that's why we always slide into others and we take decisions. You're supposed to know what you're supposed to do. If you're in this particular position, understand what your terms of reference are, the impact you're supposed to make, what you're supposed to do for individuals in society. They can feel your impact because you are there because it's by people's choice. You're not there on your own accord. So we need to understand all of that. So once we know that, so we don't infuse in other people's position or lines, or I think we have a lot to do in that. I think we need to come back to the drawing table.
Absolutely.
It's very important.
but
with all of this talk, is making me very hungry. Yes, and I like the fact that it's taste and texture segments where you have your breakfast ideas. Don't ask Priscilla and I what taste and texture, the segment, the food that we're gonna dish to you today. You just have to sit back, relax, and find out for yourself. Do not go anywhere. It's taste and texture segment. Stay tuned.
Hello everyone and welcome to Taste and Texture. The plan is to prepare an easy Nigerian delicacy and we will be breaking down the entire process with you. In today's episode of the program, we'll be focusing on ewagoyin. Ewagoyin, also known as beans and stew, is always a delicious and simple breakfast option. This one is a recipe that is filling, delicious and nutritious. Main ingredients: honey beans, onions, dried red bell peppers, also known as tatashe, dried chili pepper, palm oil, salt, seasoning, plantain, and water. Step 1. Place a clean pot on the stove and add your beans. Step 2. Add water, onions, and salt to the beans and cover to cook. Step 3. For our stew, add your dry peppers into a bowl, then add hot water to soak the peppers in order to soften them. Step 4. When the peppers are soft, add them into a blender with onions and blend till smooth. Step 5. In a pot, add your palm oil and chopped onions. Fry the onions for a few minutes till brown. Step 6. Add your blended peppers into the pot and keep stirring. Step 7. Add your salt and seasoning and keep stirring. Keep cooking till your stew becomes dark brown. Step 8. Check on your beans. Once cooked, mash your beans in the pot. That's it. Your ewa going is ready to serve and enjoy. You can pair it with plantain, bread, yam, and other options. That's it on today's episode of the program Taste and Texture. Hope you will try these recipes in your various homes and hope you enjoyed the program. Join me same time next week for another episode of the program. I am Saadatu Garba. Thank you for watching. See you again.
All right, you're welcome back from that yummy, delicious, tasty, mouth-watering segment of Taste and Texture, talking about that beans and plantain.
So what's the English name of that meal? Because I know it as ewa going.
Ewa going is the Yoruba name.
Yeah, what's the English name?
It has to be, I don't know.
Bean pudding. It can't be bean pudding or smashed beans.
Mashed beans and plantain.
Mashed beans and plantain.
Well, that is one meal you need. Have you had that?
I've never had it.
Oh my
unfortunately,
goodness.
But I mean, mashed beans and beans for breakfast. Well, Nigeria is that country where anything works.
Anything works. Anything goes.
Nutritionist. We need to sit with the nutritionist to ask if this is recommended.
Oh, please.
That's it. Well, it looks delicious. It was really simple.
No, it doesn't look. It is. I will tell you. I understand what this is all about.
Okay.
It's delicious. And then that sauce on top of it.
Please. I'll try. I am inspired by this breakfast. Absolutely will try it. Maybe over the weekend to see how it tastes. But you know.
You can have it with bread.
When you're getting your beans,
yam.
Sometimes they tell you, this is the very soft one, and
get the honey beans.
Okay, the honey beans works.
Get the honey bean. It works
because the beans has. And then I was told when you're cooking beans, don't use salt, else the beans will not get
cooked on time. And it's true. And per boil.
I saw them putting salt in that.
Everyone has what works for them.
Is it to say that honey beans, whether you put salt or not, it still gets?
Although yes, but there are some that are really hard. But just be on the honey beans just per boil.
To stay safe, don't use salt.
Yes, don't use salt until when it's a bit cooked, and then you add. It's delicious.
Okay, I'll try it. Then people used to say don't use. People used to use
potash, which is I don't think it's healthy.
Right?
No, it's not.
And some used to use spoon. They would just throw an iron spoon. Nigerians, we have technology.
That one is not technology.
Well, really, really delicious, and I will try it. And you should try it this morning. If you are stranded with ideas and you have all the time in your hands, it doesn't take so much time though. It depends on the beans you have at the end of the day. But really delicious. Delicious.
But the brown beans is better, really. And at about this time, let's get inspired with Heart to Heart Inspirational with Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Stay tuned.
It's a beautiful day, right? And I'm so excited to come on your way this wonderful day. It's good for us to talk about peace of mind, which is greater than packaging. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Yes, have you thought about it? Our topic today is simple but powerful. There is a reason why I feel it's powerful. Because we're talking about peace of mind, which is greater than packaging. That's the topic for today. That's where we will be discussing from today. Peace of mind is greater than packaging. In Nigeria today, many people are under pressure. Pressure for what? To package. Package what? Their lives. Because they want to feel belonging. Probably because they want to impress someone who may not even be watching. But then, people actually want to appear successful even when they are drowning in debt. I know people run into debt because they simply want to package, they simply want to impress. Some even borrow money to buy the latest phone. Some rent expensive houses. Some even go as far as wearing designer clothes. Do you know what it means for someone to rent an expensive apartment that they cannot afford? They go borrow money to do that, all in the name of packaging, especially in this era of social media. But then the truth is this, well, The spraying of money at parties to show off, all these are packaging, and posting of fake lives on social media, like I said, just to impress people who honestly do not care about them. At the end of the day, you go feeling the heat. Do these people really care, whatever you are? Like I tell people, you're borrowing to do a wedding, you're borrowing to do a birthday party. People will come, eat and go. Then you face the reality. A lot of people have committed a lot of evil because they went too far to package themselves in order to impress people. But behind many smiling faces, there are sleepless nights. Behind some luxury cars that you see, some are even on paid loans that get them those cars. Behind some expensive weddings are families battling serious problems. Behind some social media posts are depression, anxiety, frustration, weeping all the time at night. You see them looking at the ceiling, wetting their pillows with cry because they did what they were not supposed to do just to package. Pride is what's causing all of these. But then, this is the reason why today I want us to understand that peace of mind is more valuable than appearance. A man who sleeps well at night is richer than a man who owns 3 cars but is afraid of every phone call because of debt. A woman who eats simple food with joy is happier than someone who is dining in an expensive restaurant while battling emotional pain. Peace of mind cannot be bought in the market. You can't buy it at all. So get yourself peace of mind. Get yourself peace of mind. There is a popular saying, of course, in Nigeria that who get peace, they enjoy life. All right? Because a lot of people have money, but do they sleep at night? You can't. You can buy bed, but you can't buy sleep. Look around our society today. Many young people are competing unnecessarily. Social media has turned life into a competition. Somebody will snap inside another person's car and pretend it belongs to him or her. Some ladies are under pressure because of what they see online. No, don't live your life based on what people are posting online. It will make you make mistakes. Some young men have entered fraud, crime, ritual, and even dangerous activities because they want to maintain packaging. One thing with packaging is that by the time you start, you need to do other things to maintain it because they need to be sustained. But let me ask you a question right now. What is the value of packaging when your heart is restless? What's the value of what need is it? Who are you trying to impress? The person you're trying to impress is sleeping very well. Any phone call the person takes at will, but in your own case, you can't take phone calls. If you hear your phone ring, your mind will skip, oh, is it the person I'm owing and all of that. At night, you can't even sleep because you don't know who is going to come knocking at your door the next day. Let me tell you this. A young man in Lagos once worked honestly as a mechanic apprentice. His friends even mocked him because he rode an old motorcycle while they were actually showing off flash lifestyle. He stayed focused, avoided crime, and kept learning his trade. 10 years later, he owns a successful automobile workshop and employed workers. Some of those who mocked him either are hiding from debt or from the law enforcement agency or even struggling with regrets. Peace of mind, once again, I want to reiterate. Peace of mind is greater than packaging. Don't go and do what is not necessary because you just want to package. All right? Don't do what you feel it's going to be detrimental to your life because you want to package, you want to impress someone. It's not necessary. Live your life, all right, positively, not just a package so that you can live a flamboyant life on social media or in the face of people, but then you are restless because you're living your life on loan. You're living your life on so many things that are not necessary because you want to impress. I want everyone to know that it's better, all right, to be truthful to yourself instead of you going about doing what you are not supposed to do in the name of packaging. Once again, peace of mind is greater than packaging right here in Nigeria and anywhere in the world. Thank you very much. This is the size of Heart to Heart today. I believe someone has been inspired. Live your life positively and not living your life to impress. Don't borrow because you want to package yourself to impress people. It doesn't matter. Thank you very much and have a beautiful day.
All right, you're welcome back from that Heart to Heart Inspirational with Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Hope you were well inspired when it comes to positivity, which is key. So hope you understand that process. It is a process, it is a chain when it comes to positivity and staying positive. At about this time, it is the newspaper review segment, and we'll start with the first paper of the day. And it is the first newspaper that we'll be starting with is the Nigerian News Direct. And above the nameplate, it says here, xenophobia, Nigeria evacuates another batch of 287 Nigerians from South Africa. And of course, that is on page 2 on the Nigerian News Direct. Next, on the same page above the nameplate, it says, Ogun Gubber, Adeleke alleges plan to buy voters' cards, disenfranchise voters. Okay, let's see how well that goes. And on page 5, it says solar power projected to account for 50% of Nigeria's electricity generation within 3 years. And of course, those are the headlines up above the nameplate. Now, below the nameplate of the Nigerian News Direct on page 6, it says state police governors demand review of revenue formula, seek dedicated funding. It's very important that we understand that funding is what will drive state policing.
Absolutely.
Without funding, seriously, Priscilla, funding, we have to understand where these funds are going to come from, if it's sustainable, if it's going to stand the test of time.
And it's very important. Have responsible governors.
Very important, yes.
To make sure that nobody's lacking.
Exactly, or no one is laundering the money. Very important. And of course, below all of that, of course, that particular star headline you find on page 6 on the Nigerian News Direct. Now, below all of that, we have Senate moves to create agency for asset recovery management. And the writer says, as Legal Practitioners Act amendment scales third reading. And then, of course, still on page 3 on the Nigerian News Direct, it says Shatima orders NCC NEMA to collaborate on nationwide adoption of 112 emergency number. I think that is long overdue. We should have that. But my problem with that now is there going to be network when emergency lines are being called? Are there call center, customer care?
We are still talking about our Nigerian sites working properly.
Exactly. We don't even have an accurate census. We don't even have...
We've not had census since 2006.
Exactly.
Almost 20 years.
20 years.
20 years now.
I'm scared for this.
That you don't have to have people there. It's not really an emergency. But then you go there and you notice it's not working. There are numbers there. No one gives you instruction. You send mails. Let's start with emails. let's start with that first before we talk about emergency numbers. Well, It's possible.
I just pray the needful, because this is very important, because there are some communities that are being attacked by these bandits and you need an emergency response. For me, this is a step in the right direction, because in America you have the 911. That's an emergency line that you can call. In London, the same thing. And I think in Nigeria we should, because of this particular issue of kidnapping, terrorism, which we have. But hopefully, I think this is a step, but I hope it's a fantastic initiative. It has always been there, but is it workable? That's a big question mark.
How do you make it work?
Let's try and make it work. Next paper, and it's going to be read by my co-host, is the Daily Sun. Over to you, Priscilla.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The Daily Sun has its first story besides the nameplate, and it reads, Governors, Senators differ on state policing funding. Well, it don't happen. It has started to happen. Mba presses for financial autonomy, investment in technology. States should earn more than centers, says Soludo. Details on page 6. Well, it's a normal thing when you have a new initiative and policy. Everybody comes with their opinion, but the most important thing is to make a headway and come to a consensus. The very next story there reads, 2027, nothing must happen to Obi. Atiku wants. This relationship is beginning to start again. Obi versus Atiku. Federal government response to threat against Obi, live worrisome. That's coming from Kwankwaso. Someone had earlier predicted that, the coalition will still happen. Despite the fact that we're having different coalition parties, but eventually, when they see that, they cannot, really emerge by going apart, they may eventually come back together and pull that force. That's the only chance they stand, if you ask me. So I'm seeing Atiku, trying to love on Obi, and in the political sense, though. Yeah,
I understand.
Okay, let's see what comes out of this. The very star story here reads, xenophobia. Refs seek review of bilateral relations with South Africa. The writer there says, demand probe of death of Nigerians and others. Details on page 6. Now we go below the nameplate, and the first one there reads, Fulani militants, worst perpetrators of Christian genocide in Nigeria. That's coming from a U.S. lawmaker. Details on page 26. U.S. releases list of Nigerians set for deportation. I saw that on the internet yesterday. You find that detail on page 27. I just hope that they find all the courage to start again, because they say life is about hope. I would hope life gives you hope.
Yes, it does.
Ex-CCT chairman Umar remanded in Kuje prison. Details on page 4. And the very last one there, fraud allegation against Bajabiamilia. Rubbish madness. That's coming from Wiki. What do you expect? Says FCTIGR jumped from 9 billion naira to 40 billion naira after TSA exits. Okay. Well, you want to read up that interesting one there on page 27, and those are about the headlines we have for you on the Daily Sun. Get a copy to get yourself more informed with all of those details. And the next point of call is the Punch newspaper.
Right now, the Punch newspaper giving us some very punchy headlines. Oh my God! I just said some punchy. Did you?
Yeah, I feel you.
Really? All right, let's move over to the Punch newspaper now. And on the Punch, it reads, beside the nameplate, or will I say above a bit, it says 2027 presidency, Wike rules out PDP as vice VP candidate emerges. And that's on page 29. Now, beside the nameplate of the Punch on page 2, it says State Police, Governors back reforms, SDP rejects Bajabiamila as panel. And that's on page 2. Wondering why? A big question mark. And on page 19, it says Dangote Refinery sourced 22% of June crude from overseas. And then the star story of the Punch says Tinubu meets security chiefs amid troops' salary backlash. And we have 3 writers there. And it says presidents in closed-door engagement with security chiefs as attacks persist. And next it says veterans, others fault soldiers, 100 100,000 naira wage demand comprehensive overhaul. Tinubu's Easter pay review promised to security personnel yet to materialize. And below that, on page 29, it says 2027, Tinubu unveils grassroots movement defends economic reforms. And on page 4 and 5, it says U.S. names 124 Nigerians for deportation. And basically, those are all the major headlines on the Punch newspaper. Go ahead and get yourself a copy to be well informed with the major issues making round to avoid fake news. Next, we have the blueprint. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Jumai. The blueprint appears a bit scanty, but let's read up a few stories we have there. The very first one, below the nameplate, I won't betray Nigerians, trusts, reforms. Reforms will deliver better future. That's coming from our dear President, Tinubu. The rider there that comes with it urges supporters to take renewed hope message to grassroots. We'll be having this as part of our conversation today. Let's assess the renewed hope agenda and everything, all the reforms that came with this very administrations, especially economically. And let's see where we are at. If it's something that we would say, oh, let's go ahead with this guy, he has done excellent. Or maybe we'll say, I think he did not get it at this point. All of that is part of what democracy entails, right? Okay, the very next story. U.S. publishes names of 124 Nigerians to be deported for various crimes. Details on page 8. Fortunately, there's a story above the nameplate. How FCT monthly revenue rose from 9 billion naira to over 40 billion naira under my watch. That's coming from our dear FCT Minister Wike.
Mr. Project.
He's really, he's doing fantastic.
An amazing job.
Let's call a spade a spade.
No, let's call a spade, Priscilla. We see, look at the roads. The roads are fantastic. You can now connect the routes, as in everywhere is smooth. Of course, people are complaining drainage and all of that because some places are flooded, and of course, which God forbid, we don't want that. But call a spade, like you've said. You might not like his face. You might not like the things that come out from his mouth. You might say to yourself, the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, is very authoritative. For me, I really like him. I like his ways. I was like, cut him some slack. Come on.
Yeah, so you really like
I
him?
do. I won't hide that fact. I like the fact that he is working. He understands his terms of reference, and he's doing the best he can. And it's not one-sided. It's everyone. Both, whether you're high up there, low down there, you're going to enjoy the roads. And that's development in the FCT. I like what he does. I do.
Dear FCT Minister, you have a fan.
I do. He of course.
Right here.
It's not hidden.
Right says 70% of projects executed in 3 years, abandoned for 16 years. Well, again, we say he's doing fantastic. Well, at what point do we make all these things? These are basic amenities, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we know that people that are supposed to do it have not been doing it, but yeah, we can celebrate, but can we also reflect on our medical, our primary health care?
Very important.
Because that is where people die every day.
Yes.
You can go through the road. Now people will get money somehow. They even get the fee won't enter transport. There are people that basically spend their lives in the hospital.
Yes.
From year to year. There. So, dear Minister of FCT, we love all you have been doing, but please can you touch light that angle a bit?
When it comes to
our health facilities are nothing to write home about.
I know, for as much as there should be a balance. I understand, especially when it has to do with, because you have to be alive to enjoy these basic amenities.
Absolutely.
You have to be hale and hearty to move from point A to point B. I think we should. I think everything is not
one
really
step at a time.
Okay. One step, because there are look at other states, for instance, and you wonder why is it that the projection here is much more. We have commissions; they're commissioning projects back to back, like throughout this month. I don't work for the FCT Minister, please. I work for Global Television, but I think everything is one step at a time. I think by the grace of God, he will get there. He will try and touch as much places as he can. Look at the roads, for instance; it's fantastic.
Well, let me take your words for it, because
don't take my word for it. I wait for
another
FCT Minister.
No, you are the one giving me the word right now. Well, those are about the headlines we have for you on the Blueprint newspaper. Do well to get yourself a copy so you stay out of fake news. The next point of call is the Guardian newspaper.
Of course, now the Guardian newspaper. And below that, on page 3, that's below the nameplate of the Guardian, it says here, reps in rowdy session over Tinubu summon budget implementation delay. And on page 3 again, it says Tunji's men kill 5 adopt woman in Sokoto. Is it Tarji or Tunji? I'm trying to see
Turji.
this. Okay, Turji's. Pardon me. Turji's men kill 5 adopt women in Sokoto, and that's on page 3. And of course, the picture of the that's Tunji Disu, of course, and it says here, State Police, Lagos Assembly rallies states on speedy approval. Northern governors meet. And the Star story on The Guardian says legal distractions, intimidation weaken opposition's 2027 contest, and that's on page 6. And on page 4, it reads, NANS names 43 institutions in NEL Fund double tuition scandal.
Wow. Double tuition. I knew that Nigerians would find a way to just...
I always knew. I said it here on the program. I said you'll be surprised at the corruption that's going to happen. And that is why I like the fact that you don't have to, NEL Fund, free education. You do not have to go through other channels. It's just you go. I think that's the right way to go. You don't have to go through a school. Just as a student, go and apply, give your details. Let it be...
So where is this coming from? Is it from the individuals that are doing this, or is it the school themselves that are perpetrating this? Well, all of these details, I believe, will be given on that very story. But it's really unfortunate.
It's really unfortunate. This is to make your life, the life of our children, better. Individuals who cannot pay at a go, you can actually get a loan to see yourself through school. You can be educated. It's all right. You can be educated and be happy. You take a loan, and then when you're done, you can pay back bit by bit.
Without interest.
Without interest. For that is a step in the right direction. And you see these things, and then yet we say we grumble and say...
Humans will always be humans.
Very
That's
true.
why when you set up policies like this, you ensure that you are very proactive for situations.
And a monitoring team should be there to monitor every step of the way in order for it to make it stand the test of time. Absolutely. Very important. And on page 30 on The Guardian, it says here, ex-policemen reject PenCon's option B to protest poor welfare. Wow, poor welfare. Well, on page 6 it says, PFIPC probe divides NAS as ADC. Atiku insists on independent inquiry. Very important. We need to get to the root of this, really, because this in the Pigeon Palace, this one shocked me.
Yeah, it's Nigeria. What do you expect?
I was shocked.
It's just one case.
Are you kidding me?
To the light of day. There
With the
are
money
several
involved.
others. It's not in this Nigeria we have ghost workers.
But really, this is something that has to do with the federal. This is serious. This is high up there.
Are they not recognized?
We understand that. But this is something that has to come on, Priscilla. You know how the gravity of what this is? This is big.
It's just one of so many. That's what I'm trying to say. This is just one that
I guess.
We know. There are lots that has not come. This is basically because there's a misunderstanding somewhere, and one person is trying to prove, to another person that I am your boss. I feel like that's the situation, because if everything had gone well, we wouldn't even know. It would go smoothly. They would get to
but I'm sure
more and more allocation.
But you said something that this is just one of the ones. I think something went south.
Exactly. There are so many that have not gone south, and you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Some are so coded that they will just do this thing. No one knows.
So it's Nigeria.
But I think something just went, and the guy was so angry and said,
"I will
expose you,
and you would enter trouble."
And you enter
to try me.
You want to try me? No. Oh my God, snitches. God, that's. I'm not really feeling. No comments, please, so they won't quote you my answer. Moving on now, on page 30, it says Tinubu hails Benway's industrial growth as Aliyah commends FG's reform. And still on the Guardian newspaper, it says here on page 2, it says Senate seeks 15-year jail term, assets for future for fake drug dealers. Very important. Fake drugs, that's ruined a lot of lives, sends people to their early graves. So I think
there's this drug I knew well growing up. This codeine drug. I had an uncle that had a pharmacy. It was sold for I think 250 naira.
Yeah,
cough syrup. But I was speaking to a nurse recently. I said, "Isn't it sold for 10,000 naira?" Like,
yes.
10,000 naira plus. I'm like, how?
That's what it is now.
And
antibiotics that you get for as low as 3,005. I think, yes, 3,005, 3,025. Now it's sold for us 20,000 naira.
Interesting. Is it basic economy or is it because of drug abuse?
We do not know. Your guess is as good as mine. And on page 18, it says Circle Ventures invest in Flutterwave as $3.25 billion valuation to accelerate cross-border payments. And below the foot of The Guardian, it says Uganda Law Society abolishes Cornell Court traditions, bans bowing to judges. Okay, that's a no, because that has always been the tradition. You must bow when you're in the court of law. It's very important. So, well, let's see how well this goes. But you have to pick up a copy of The Guardian newspaper to be well abreast, to find out what this is all about, to avoid fake news, to find out for yourself. And then next we have the Daily Trust.
Thank you very much. Let's read up the Daily Trust. The first story, ex-Code of Conduct Tribunal chair remanded over alleged fraud. U.S. releases names, photographs of Nigerians on deportation list. How thugs killed Islamic teacher in Bauchi. Those are the stories above, just below the nameplates. The next is the Star story that reads, families, more than 50 days after, families of Oyo Bruno pupils still waiting. Sad.
Very sad. We're slowly forgetting about them.
Sad. Well, it has a picture. There is a picture story of the NYSC core members. You want to read up that very one. The next story reads, Nigeria's stock overtakes South Korea's as world's best performing. Congratulations. Man allegedly stabs father to death in Rivers. Details on page 13. EFCC arraigns Miatiala leader Bodejo over alleged $2.33 million fraud. Okay. Again, I spoke about the EFCC and how quick they are. How really what's the word again?
How
precise, accurate
they are.
If they want to get you. Details on page 6. Crude price drops to $76 amidst renewed Middle East tensions. Okay, this is still good news. I just hope it reflects in our markets, our oil markets, and fueling stations. Yes. But these are the headlines, or those are the headlines on the Daily Trust. The next point of call is the Vanguard newspaper.
All right, now the Vanguard newspaper, we don't have too many stories here, but beside the nameplate, it says here, rising cost of essentials to push more Nigerians into poverty. And unfortunately, that is coming from the IMF, and that's on page 19. On page 8, it says, Defense Minister to troops, shoot terrorists, don't wait for orders. And that's on page 8.
Well, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah. So, like he's the one, he is in charge of the...
So we're not going to get any excuse.
No excuse, because the truth is, all the service chiefs are basically under him. So it's important that he has given the command. So he has every right to give that command. And of course,
this is not the first time I'm seeing this.
No, everyone has to follow that order. That's the troops, not everyone, because we do not carry guns. Don't.
No. I'm talking about our soldiers.
No. He has said it. Shoot any terrorist, and that is it. And that's a command from the number one man when it comes to the military at the top in defense. So, and he has said it, and that's it. So, moving on now, it says here the story that's
the story where they shake Nigeria.
PFIPC, I'll give documents to DSS police, and that's from Adeyemi. And it has about three riders. It says NAS divided as reps probe fictitious 1.3 billion naira insertion. Senate blocks fresh inquiry. You can't be judge and jury in your case. Atiku flares Tinubu. Drowning government can't investigate itself. That's from the ADC. And he says 2027, I might not, that's Peter Obi now. He says he might not be alive to contest. And that's on page 14. And you're wondering, what sort of allegation is that? And you wonder. But of course, the ruling party has debunked that and says they have no hand in it, blah, blah, blah. But let's see how well that plays out. And next we have The Nation. Over to you.
All right, The Nation newspaper we bring to you right now with the first story above the nameplate. Top left corner that reads, ADC to review fuel subsidy removal if elected. This has to be joke of the year. Well, I'm wondering what happened when it was implemented. Okay, maybe he wanted to give the benefit of doubt, right? When it's not working. Okay, Nigerians, you have a reason to vote ADC. I'm not campaigning for anyone though.
Are you kidding me?
Details on page because the subsidy is part of the reasons why we're going through what we're going through.
Yeah.
You can't even deny that. CAC set to enforce director's disclosure rule from August 1. Let's see what that rule is about. Details on page 7. PDP lacks structure to win presidential election. And that's it, coming from the PDP man himself. Well, read your details on page 4. House seeks review of bilateral relations with South Africa. On page 6 is where you'd find that detail. The star story is the next, and it reads, Tinubu reviews security strategy with military chiefs to sustain gains. Ndume urges intensified momentum of successes against terrorists. That detail you find there. First Lady inaugurates Abuja City Gate, remodeled 31 years after. Details on page 6. President, our reforms delivering better future. Okay, Ababio, Abbas, you'll watch that temporarily grassroots supports you find that detail there. It appears a bit blurry from my end. Assemblies to pass Senate police bills simultaneously. Finally, court gives suspected Ansaru commander July 20 deadline to change plans. Detail on page 3. And those are headlines for the Nation newspaper. Next point of call is the Daily Independent.
All right, now the Daily Independent, and that is our last paper for the day on the Global Morning, right, Priscilla?
Absolutely.
All right, now above the nameplate it says, nothing must happen to Peter Obi, El-Rufai, Atiku warns. And of course, next it says here, Umba urges financial autonomy, tech backing for state policing. And of course, the star story reads, reps to FG holds Cameroonian military incursions into Nigeria. And the rider read, asks FG to summon South African envoy over killing of Nigerians. Very important. And on page 2 on the Daily Independent, it says, FG to Nigerians, no Ebola case in the country. Stay vigilant. And on page 7, it says, terrorism financing, Mayati Allah, president arraigned over alleged $2.63 million complicity. And on page 6 it says, why I refused to pay 300 million naira ransom for my brother by Governor Lawal. And on page 6 it says, alleged graft, court remands ex-CCT chairman Umar in Kuje prison. And below that it says, Nigerian stock set for global revival after key S&P move. And at the foot of the Daily Independent, it says, Ndume to Tinubu, speak to Nigerians regularly on government policies, and that's on page 6. And basically, those are all the major headlines on the Daily Independent. Go out to get yourself a copy and be well abreast with the issues making rounds. And that brings us to the end of the newspaper review segments on Global Television. Note that Global TV or its crew on Global Morning have no editorial judgment on the editorials written on these dailies. We have not included word. We've just read it word for word the way it came, and we have no impute whatsoever. Let's go on a quick break, and then when we come back, it's Social Buzz with Ogochukwu Mobono. Stay tuned.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast, real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
At Wichtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence. Our products are built with advanced technology, trusted for their unmatched quality and durability. With a wide range of cables, swift delivery, and continuous innovation, we stay ahead of the market demand. We are proudly Nigerian, fully indigenous, yet world-class. Backed by a professional team, strong technical support, and a deep commitment to customer satisfaction. Wichtech Cables is more than a brand, it's a promise. Wichtech Cables, quality cables better than the best.
At Aerogym Shoe Factory, excellence starts from the ground up. Located at number 1 Pound Road behind Nigeria Correctional Service, Aba, Abia State. We produce 1,500 high-quality shoes every single day. Paramilitary shoes, safety boots, desert boots, ankle shoes, back-to-school footwear. All crafted with state-of-the-art equipment and built for strength, comfort, and durability. For reliable footwear that stands the test of time, choose Aerogym Shoes for better product, strong steps, smart style. For inquiries, call 091-264-53399 or 070-3009-3944 or 080-6573-8374 or call 081-3167-3668. Email info@aerogym.com. Website www.aerogymdesign.com. Aerogym. Walk with confidence. Walk with pride.
When social media speaks, we listen and we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Buzz Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global TV.
Good morning, Nigerians and viewers around the world. It's time to look at buzz and issues on social media. And today we're looking at CBN warns against rejecting standard 100 naira notes. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has warned members of the public, businesses and financial institutions against rejecting the standard 100 naira banknote, reaffirming that it remains legal tender and must be accepted for transactions across the country. The clarifications follow reports that some Nigerians have refused to accept the standard 100 naira note due to uncertainty surrounding its validity after the introduction of the commemorative 100 naira notes. In a statement signed by the Acting Director of Corporate Communications, Hakam Sidi Ali, the Apex Bank stressed that there should be no confusion over the status of earlier version of the currency. For the avoidance of doubts, the CBN hereby reiterates that both the commemorative 100 naira banknote and the standard 100 naira banknote remains legal tender in Nigeria and must be accepted for all transactions nationwide. The statement reads, the CBN explained that the commemorative 100 naira banknote introduced to mark Nigerian centenary was not intended to replace the standard 100 naira notes. Instead, both versions remains valid and are accepted to circulate simultaneously. The bank warned that rejecting the standard 100 naira banknote is a violation of the law and could attract sanctions. The CBN strongly cautions individuals, businesses, financial institutions, and other economic agents against rejecting the standard 100 naira banknote. Such rejections constitute a violation of the provision of the CBN Act and undermines confidence in the national currency. The Apex Bank further warned that it will not hesitate to apply appropriate enforcement measures against any person or entity found to be in breach. It urged traders, transport operators, businesses, and all users of cash to accept every banknote legally issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The Central Bank of Nigeria also advised members of the public seeking further clarification to contact the bank through its official communication channels. Let's take a look at a video of a young lady complaining about the note and how she almost rejected the banknotes.
Ẹnìkan wá náwó ìfún wa ní ìrọ̀lẹ́ àná, so immediately tí wọ́n ná fún àwọn tó wà ní shop, wọ́n wá fi hàn mí nínú shop pé àwọn sọ fún woman tó náwó yìí pé àwọn ò lè gba owó yìí, wọ́n dẹ̀ insist pé bank ni wọ́n ti kó fáwọn àná yẹn náà. So now I was like, even if they pay bed, you know, fáwọn woman yẹn sọ fún mi báyìí, and I was like, èmi ò rí 100 naira eléyìí pé wọn ò gba owó eléyìí mọ́. And later on mo ṣá lọ search lórí TikTok, so wọ́n sọ pé it's like this is the new 100 naira they are doing because it's even 2026 year yìí ni wọ́n ṣe owó yẹn. And there is now mixed up na gbogbo àwọn tá a fún ní owó ìlànà wọ́n wá dówó yẹn padà fún wa, as you can see on touch lówó yẹn bọ̀ àti fáwọn èèyàn àwọn gbogbo àwọn ọmọ tá a fún ní change lánàá it's like àwọn òbí wọn fún wọn lọ sí school. Unfortunately wọ́n dówó yẹn padà fún wa lẹ́ni báyìí wọ́n ní wọn ò lè gbà pé wọn ò náwó yìí mọ́. So bóyá káwọn CBN ó bá wa tàn mọ́lẹ̀ sí pé this is the new 100 naira that they are using, please and please, especially àwa tá à ń rà tá à ń tà báyìí. So kò sówó kankan tí wọn ò ní wá ná fún wa, gbogbo náà máa wá ná fáwọn. So you people should come for our help. CBN please ẹ bá wa tàn mọ́lẹ̀ sí ẹjọ́.
Alright, so that's the video right there. And just before I even saw this particular video, I think I'd also been, but I say victim, not a victim by the way, but I've come in contact with this kind of issue, and I was almost rejecting that 100 naira banknote because I felt like this person wants to put me in trouble. The federal government already said submit all old notes because they wanted to print a new note. We remember then with the former governor of the CBN, Emefiele. Well, let's take a look at some comments from social media as regards this. And the first comment is coming from Dougie Dre, And Togi says, how is 2026 date bill on that note not right? Something is not right. All right, next comment coming from I am Operaji. And Operaji says, I personally rejected it after a retailer gave it as change to my son. These people need to do more public awareness if they want to put it back into the circulation. We once used it and now it's regarded as old note, courtesy of Emefiele. Okay, thank you everyone who dropped their comments. Courtesy of Godwin Emefiele, yes. I remember when everybody was scared, to use that note. As a matter of fact, when you give anybody, they reject it because the CBN already said it's no longer in circulation and wouldn't be used. And we know how so much huge amount of money was put into, getting a new currency, the new note from 1,500, 200, and 100 naira. Why are we going back? What is going on? Well, I'm not alone today in the studio. I have with me Priscilla Obasi. Good morning, Priscilla.
Good morning, Ogochukwu.
I needed to discuss this with you. So, Priscilla, please, can you let me know what exactly is going on? Because just before we, when we went on that very quick break, I was trying to let you know that I was actually, I came in contact with this just yesterday, and someone gave me this old note. I abused the hell out of this driver because I felt like he was trying to cheat me, and he just zoomed off after giving me the old note. I looked at it, I didn't know what to do with it, but I knew it was late in the night, and I said, okay, I was going to give it to somebody, which I did. I gave it to the bike man who took me to their house. I just wrapped it inside the 200
rand. You had conquered.
I felt like I had conquered, only for me to see late night yesterday before I slept, only for me to see this news. I'm like, how is the old bank notes coming back in circulation?
Well, this current administration, one thing they did when they came, if I can remember very clearly, was say that both notes will be used. I remember a lot of people back giving them a lot of comments and saying it's the most confused administration that has two anthems, that has two notes,
because
all of that.
Talking about two anthems, we've been actually seeing that one playing like concurrently.
Yes.
Today I hear Brotherhood. The next time I hear or I rise up
Brotherhood.
Yes. Okay, so what's going on?
Okay, so I really never, it's just that I stopped seeing the old notes, but subconsciously I knew that both notes have not legally, lawfully been, one of the notes, both notes are still legally accepted. Yes, they are still legal tender in Nigeria. It's just that maybe they stopped printing the old one and started circulating the newer ones. But this current administration came out after the Emefiele drama. When they
did you call it drama?
Yes, it was a drama.
Okay.
I remember that very incident and that very phase in Nigeria. It was not an easy one.
I think it's the money that was even put into getting a new note that was my problem, because money was more.
It was a very funny season in Nigeria. I know that season my husband had lost his dad, so getting money that season was tough.
It was very
and that's
tough.
Why I still remember very well, because if you want to travel, then he had to go to the village. You won't get cash. You were calling him up, the father is at the point of death. You have to come to Kaduna. You have to. There was no cash available anywhere. You get people were sick and couldn't go to the hospital because if you go to the hospital, they'll tell you, oh, please, we are not accepting transfer.
My younger brother was in school, so we had to buy bread. We divided it, put money inside the bread, and
wow,
that was the only way we could get money to him.
Wow,
honestly,
that's so worrying. Well, we remember that season. It's just that a lot of Nigerians have not understood or were not informed, were not well sensitized to know that this note had not been out of the system, because this current administration came out to say both notes will still be used when they came into power. But like I said, maybe they stopped printing the old one, and then the new one became, the norm. Everybody would go with and collect exchange. So at some point that became weird to see the old one again, because both have not been used concurrently, right, at the same time. So that's why people are having this feeling. But it never was. It was a force during Emefiele. But after this administration came into power, they said, we are accepting both. Continue to use your 2 naira notes. And it sounded really funny at that season. Even right now, it's still a bit funny, because how do you have two different notes?
I think we are the only country. Nigeria is the only country that actually run with this policy, and it's really funny. My concern right now is to the former CBN governor, which is Godwin Emefiele, and also the money that was spent trying to transition the old note into a new note. That money what are we going to do about it? Because right now we are all going back to our old note. Like you said, you mentioned one time that even the 200 naira, I've only seen 100 naira, but you also said that even 200 naira old note, you've seen it somehow, 500 naira. I'm like,
yeah, I remember someone giving it to me. I had to
recently.
Yes, recently. I consciously told myself, okay, we're still using it because I remember this administration's, statement.
So what will happen to that money that was used to get new currency?
It's one of the trials he's still going through with this administration.
He has to go through that trial.
He has been dealt with left, right, center. Because that season also frustrated politicians.
It's painful.
It was part of trying to restrict vote buying.
And all of that. Even the best way to restrict vote buying.
People decided to load dollars. They don't use dollars to transact in 2023. Basically because the Naira note was not available. But I mean, Nigeria is Emefiele gave them a tough time. He did give them a tough time.
Yes.
I don't know, but it is what it is. The notes, both notes are to be used legally as a legal tender, and Nigerians must know this.
Okay, just like one of the comments reads, he said there should be more, sensitization, public advertisement or whatever to make people know that, this old note is still in circulation and still a legal tender in Nigeria and can be used for businesses and transactions. They really need to do a lot. CBN needs to do so much when it comes to that because a lot of persons are still rejecting it. I almost rejected it yesterday, only for me to hear that it is legal tender in Nigeria. Well, we hope that, yes, we get our old note. I don't know, I kind of like the old note. It looks fine. It looks so real. And again, another thing I want to see is 20 naira, 10 naira, and 5 naira. Very important. I really want to see all of that. Whether it's in old note or the polymer, I really don't care, but I want to see all of those notes. It kind of brings back childhood memory. I want to see it. I understand that right now in Nigeria, you can't even you can't buy anything with 20 naira. Even 15 naira, you can't. But let me see them in circulation. We'll use it as change. Let's transact with it, all right? All right, thank you everyone who was part of this conversation. And yes, to you, Priscilla, thank you very much for your contribution to today's topic on Such a Buzz on Global Morning. And this is where we'll call it a day on Such a Buzz on Global Morning. I'll be leaving the house of Jumai and Priscilla as the ushers into the discussion section of Global Morning. So stay with us. Once again, good morning, Nigerians and viewers around the world. I am Okochukwu Mobuno. Bye for now.
When social media speaks, we listen and we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Buzz Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global TV.
Thank you for joining us. Let's begin with our satellite imagery from Wednesday night into Friday, with widespread rainfall across many areas, bringing cooler conditions and widespread rainfall activities. Many cities recorded significant amounts of rains as the weather system tracked across the country. As of now, conditions have become calmer in much of the north and the central region, allowing for cooler weather and a brief period of recovery. However, rain-bearing clouds remain active over most parts of the southeast and the south-south. Looking ahead to Friday, these storms system are expected to shift westwards, bringing another round of moderate to heavy rainfall to most parts of the southwest, especially parts of Ogun, Osun, Oyo, and Lagos states, with many areas already experiencing flooding. The additional rainfall could worsen flood conditions, especially in low-lying areas and poorly drained communities. Residents are advised to stay alert and avoid driving or walking through flooded roads, and follow for more updates from NIMET and other relevant authorities. By late Friday, converging winds are expected to bring fresh thunderstorms over parts of the north and the central regions, while the extreme northeastern region are expected to be relatively drier and more settled conditions through much of Friday. And that's your weather update.
Since assuming office in May 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration has embarked on some of the most far-reaching economic reforms in Nigeria, as in compared to decades, right? Now, from the removal of the fuel subsidy, which we had sometime last year, and no, almost immediately. I mean, just almost immediately he came into office, and then we had the unification of foreign exchange markets to ongoing tax reforms and efforts to boost revenue. The government has actually maintained that these difficult seasons are very necessary, and the decisions, right, are aimed at repositioning Nigeria's economy for long-term growth and sustainability. We've heard statements around, don't worry, this will pass, don't worry, we need to go through this so that we can build the Nigeria that we want to be. And so much hopes that very soon we're going to come out of this. Now, while some of these economic reform indicators suggest signs of improvement, many Nigerians continue to grapple with the realities of the high cost of living. And all Nigerians have complained in the last 3 years of, the sad reality of trying to cope with the economic reforms. Now, as a result, opinions have remained divided. Some believe the reforms are beginning to lay the foundation for sustainable growth, while others argue that the benefits are still yet to reach the ordinary Nigerians. So, where exactly does Nigerian economy stand today is what we are asking. Have these reforms delivered the intended results that we want to see? What's the progress? What progress has been made so far? What challenges still remain? And what should Nigerians realistically expect in the months ahead as we prepare for 2027 elections? These are the questions we'll be examining in today's conversations. We're joined this morning by Honorable Stephen Algier, an economist. He is also a chieftain of the APC and a public affairs commentator. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on Global Morning. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's begin. Sir, if we look at what we have today in the economy, everything going on, the hardship and President Tinubu has consistently maintained that difficult reforms introduced since 2023 were necessary to stabilize Nigeria's economy and attract investment and investors. Nearly 3 years on, how would you assess the reforms so far, sir?
Okay, thank you. To us, we say the step he took was necessary because we're having a situation where our economy was actually becoming something else. It was becoming a shamble. And
you mean before he came into
power? Before he came into power. Oh. And he had no option than to take this bold step by removing subsidy and bringing notable reforms, fiscal reforms like tax reforms, that is meant to bring more revenue to the government. And so he also took a bold step by unifying the forest market, foreign exchange, because if you remember, we had a dual type of foreign exchange, where the official one was different. People could just go to the central bank or forest, they just collect official rates, and they don't go anywhere. They don't even import, they don't do anything with it. They just go to the black market and sell it. So they just sit in their comfort in their room, because obviously on each dollar you could make more than 100 naira on a dollar or more than that. Then that's what was going on. But this administration has been able to bring certain reforms by making sure that the foreign exchange remain at par with the black market, which is normally like 3 naira difference or 5 naira difference, as the case may be. So I think overall, the government has done something, because proper economists will tell you that these things are necessary. if you want to move on. Because the way people think outside the economy, like if you meet a layman, obviously he's going to shout on you and say that the government has done nothing. And sometimes you don't know that the people who are saddled with the responsibility of managing the economy are seeing something that you are not seeing. Okay. So you don't have the records. So you think all you care about is what you are going to eat today. Like me, if I want to be an ordinary person, I would begin to complain that I don't have money to buy fuel, which obviously I don't have. So, but the real thing there is that if you say, okay, we should continue to subsidize the economy, and even the ordinary people we are not benefiting like the black marketers, because all they need is just to collect official rate from the NNPC, and they just go to the border here and sell it. I don't know if you are here in this when we had this issue where you go to the street of Abuja, you see fuel. These Aboki boys, all of them have fuel to sell. But if you go to filling station, you will not see fuel to buy. So this is part of your inability to address the economy, where everybody can, where criminals can benefit more than an ordinary person. How come filling station will not have fuel, but black markets?
Isn't that thanks to Dangote right now? Do we give it?
No. It's not given to Dangote. Don't get it wrong. When Dangote is just like any other person. So any other person will have invested in the refinery. If there are no subsidy, and they give license for everybody to import, everybody will import and sell at the right rate. So everybody can enter into that business. Okay, the only thing that you can say that Dangote is in the economy is because he's Dangote refinery, because it also preserves our foreign exchange, the dollar. Because obviously, before you import fuel, what you are going to do is that you have to source for dollar from the CBN or from the government so that you can import it. But now we are conserving. Dangote is no longer asking for those dollars to import fuel. He's also producing. He can now sell. It brings more. It consolidates our foreign exchange, and that is why you see stability in the foreign exchange. That because fuel is one of the dominant factor that control or buy or uses the dollar more. So these are some of the things. So he is just like any other business person. But if we have more of this, we can be able to export. That means bringing more dollar into the economy. And that is the extent of the demand and supply. In the economy, we don't look at those things. We don't look at this demand and supply. Whatever the supply, if the supply cannot meet demand, anything becomes anything.
So shouldn't we be highlighting our refineries that have not worked all this while? Because I mentioned Dangote because Dangote seems to be the one helping us pull that, weight. But we have refineries in this country. If we had our refineries working, one of the things, this government told us when they were taking away fuel subsidies that they're going to channel some of this money back to refineries and, enable it to work. But 3 years after, we're still talking about data. We're still talking about, whatever the records are that the ordinary Nigerians cannot see. Coming from a president that told a candidate of the Labour Party in 2023 that no statistics will go chop. Do you understand? I remember that very statement. So was it him not knowing the reality of being a president and just being in the election campaign mode? Or I don't know, but how would you make sense of all of this?
I don't know what politics. See, what we say in politics is different from the reality. So something we can just is to take a jab on someone. Just taking a jab, and the person knows the truth. But it's just like, let's go ahead, let's see what you say something that people say, hey, you are speaking grammar, let us fire him this way. You take a jab on him.
So it was him throwing shades. It was him throwing shades.
I tell you, I don't know what he was throwing, but I just told you that in politics, when we are campaigning, it's not different. We say things that you don't ordinarily have to. Or somebody said, remember somebody said it's going to bring 1 naira to $1, which is absolutely not possible.
It's not possible. It's very possible. No. If you are more producing state. If you stop the, like you said, it's demand and supply. If we're able to generate whatever it is that we need, we'll get to that point where a dollar becomes a naira. But because
let me tell you something.
Okay, sir.
Let me tell you something. It's not even advisable that your dollar become equivalent
to
naira.
Why?
Because once they are par, what people tend to do is to import more. People begin to import more. If you say, okay, dollar is just 1 naira, uncle, what costs you to import to produce in Nigeria? You think all of us will be using these rickety cars everywhere? You have to be importing the cars now. So because they are at what to call they have productive advantage of what they are doing. So if you now say, oh, the dollar is the same thing, obviously you are not encouraging production. Why China, that we always talk about, they are not at par with the dollar. They don't do that. If you're a producing nation, you have to make sure that you bring back the price of your goods, so that people or the dollar become easy, so that people can be able to export more. Because people who are outside will now demand more of your things, because your currency is demand and supply. So if you now say you want to make it a par, people, everybody will export. You will become lazy. You don't encourage your industries by doing that. It might go to one level that you have become very productive. At the end of the day, you might decide to say, okay, let us see how this thing climbs up. But if you say, okay, you want to start it, somebody should not be deceiving you by giving you some narrative that are not economically inclined to say, okay, you want something to go. You will become lazy. The time our dollar was in the same thing at pound, because our demand was very small then. That's why people say, oh, naira was the same thing with the dollar. Naira, because people are not consuming anything. Because you do have television. You don't have people who are looking for cars. You don't have people who are looking for cosmetics. People are not looking for people who are looking for buying anything. People are not even buying wigs. People are so demand has increased now. But when you now at level we are now, we are a consuming nation. So anything that you now say, okay, let's bring it down. We can forcefully bring that thing down. But that is the implication that the administration of Tinubu is trying to correct, because you cannot allow that thing to be in control of the exchange rate, to say, okay, this is how I want it to grow. You can be able to tamper with it little so that the thing will not go haywire. As it is now, if not for economic, the Tinubu administration can allow the dollar to fall, but it also have its implication.
On politicians.
Not a politician.
Nigeria.
Yes, this is it.
But let me ask a question. For someone out there who is wondering what this is all about when it comes to reform, subsidy, and all of that, someone will sit back and say, okay, what were the main objectives when it comes to economic reforms, the key main objectives for Nigerians and Nigeria as a whole?
Because there was no criminality. Okay. When that subsidy were introduced. We call it welfareism, welfare economics for Nigerians. Okay. Because obviously, if you have a welfare, you cannot allow people to suffer all the time. So what you do, don't allow don't allow the petrol price to just go too high, because people have to benefit from that. There were no criminals then. Okay. That period. Criminals in the sense that people were not carrying cheap fuel here and taking to the border of Cameroon. People were not doing that. Most of those things that were so when petrol became very cheap, it's the same. It boils down to demand and supply. Okay. If you are selling petrol here in Nigeria because it's subsidized, instead of 1 naira, it becomes 50 kobo. And you can use that petrol that you are getting here and take it to Cameroon border and sell it at 2 naira. When will you sell it in Nigeria? You will sell it. So that is why you had people. That is where people were doing. I know somebody would sell. Okay, just get the license where you can you can take fuel. Once they take fuel, as you are bringing it out from NNPC depot, what the next thing they do? They are on their way to Benin Republic. because it's not cheap there. It is expensive because their own is flowing. So anything you do here now, let me tell you something. I was explaining something that to somebody. If, for instance, you know that corn, you can buy corn in Nigeria. The corn is subsidized. Instead of it being 1 naira, government is maybe 10 naira, they're selling it for 2 naira. They say, okay, every corn seller should say, then we are going to pay, we are going to augment for that other one. You will not be on television because you just say, hey, this is what they say. This thing is going in they are selling it in a Benin Republic or in something at rate of 20 naira or 30, 50. Everybody will move.
Exactly.
There will be migration, economic migration. Everybody they will just collect it free here and move. That's why you see that in border, when with subsidy was removed by this government, the first thing, there was a clip that was showing in Nigeria, every jerrycan, everybody abandoned it and left because it was not easy. In fact, it was even cheaper for them to buy within their own borders than to buy from Nigeria because it becomes very expensive. That is the essence, because that thing you cover is a slush money. That something is a slush money that is there to augment that. So that slush money now, people are already looking how to get it. That's how business work. It's demand and supply. If for instance, now you are just here because that is the demand here now. If they tell you they are looking for you in CNN, will you be here? You move. Of course. Because that is demand and supply. Everybody, migration, everybody moves according to what you think, what you think. If your demand is high, if the demand is open, like I'm sitting here, if somebody has said is going to give me $10,000, what am I sitting down here do? I will move. Because that is demand, that's the essence of demand and supply. Don't look at it, people look at it, they invest emotionally into it. In economics, you don't invest emotion into it, except you not bring welfareism. Now, let me tell you something. You are trying to bring something, the refinery thing, yes, that they said you didn't go far. Yes. Now, let me tell you why it can't work. Yes. Those refineries, we have invested emotions into them, even when we know that these things will not work.
Who are the ones? Is it the government?
The government. That's what I say. It's collective. We're now, all of us as a nation, all of us in Nigeria, we have invested emotion that they say, oh, we have refinery in Port Harcourt, is the pride. We have refinery in Kaduna, we can refine. You don't have the technology. Do you understand? You don't have the technology. So what becomes the problem? You now have that emotion. You know that those things are moribund. It's also criminality. It's a way of where to launder money. You now say, okay, we want to repair this. They say, oh, it is $50,000 that will repair the refinery. You know that it will not work.
But the government are the ones that tell us these things. I mean, those are political leaders.
That's what I'm telling you now.
That
is why when this government came in, what they are trying to do now, I just had one recent partnership that is going to exist between China. They are giving them these refineries to be managed by the Chinese. Which is,
for me,
do you think is a step in the right direction?
No, they should sell everything.
Really?
Yes, now. Because do you know what it see? That's what we call opportunity cost.
Okay.
Opportunity cost is anything you cannot do after making a choice. Now, as it is now, those filling stations, you cannot manage them.
We cannot manage our
you can because the government shall have no business in doing business. Government have no business in doing business. Do you think if government was one owning Dangote refinery, that sabotage that Nigerians want to cause for him by going there, they are removing things, that you become a union, you want to start forming union to collect money that you have no business, you did not help him to build. You now come and form one union and you are collecting levy on everybody. You want to start it, you are reaping where you have not sown. So these refineries, as they are here, they are moribund.
So
they can't work.
To get Nigerians
exactly. That's what I'm saying. You can sell it to me. You can sell it to me.
I thought you said we should send it to China.
No, what I mean when I say sell, China is just a representative of whoever can buy. That is what we call demand and supply.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong when I say sell.
Okay.
When I mention a name, does not mean that should be the person.
No, for emphasis.
For emphasis sake, yeah. But for me, you can send it to me. There are investors in Nigeria. You can even send it to Otobola.
Exactly.
You can send it to Otobola. You can send it to, I don't want to make names, so maybe I say I'm trying to work on it. That's why I'm calling myself, because obviously I'm doing marketing for them that they are not going to pay me. So if these things are possible, give these refineries to sell it at a very cheap price for them so that we can move on. But keeping those things, and there's criminals eating money from everybody. The contract is given and nothing is working. This thing is not working and they are still there. Doing what? It's not, economics is not as advisable. But if you want to come to pride, maybe because pride say we too, emotional, it becomes emotional. We too have. It's not like we too have. Create an environment. That is the business. That's the work of government. Create an environment where business can strive, because market is profit driven. It's profit driven. When you have this refinery, if I was the president of this country and I have that refinery, the first person who is going to be the MD of this is going to be my cousin. Yes. They're going to be my cousin, because it is me who is in government. Because if I don't help my village people, they are going to say, oh, you were the president, you didn't help my village people. That's the one thing you have to understand.
Even when they're not qualified.
When they're not qualified.
But isn't one of the reasons why we're not moving forward in this country?
We are not moving. If you say we are not moving with something, we are retrogressing. We are walking backward, dancing with our head up. Because everything you do, you are surrounded by sacrifice, you are surrounded by people, and what are you talking about?
So was that the reason why late President Tinubu, sorry, I beg your pardon, that's the total late President Buhari decided to be one of the heads of the NNPC at some point, basically to be able to manage affairs better?
How can you manage? That is what I'm telling you. Government has no business in business. You only create environment where businesses can strive. That is your business. NNPC, you bring people. You see, no matter what happens, you must do patronage. You must bring somebody from your village, because if you don't go there, when they're going to have village meeting next time, or when they're about to bury you, people from a village will not come. They will only see people from outside, and when they come, they will leave your grave like that. So you have to do something for your village people.
Well, it's a Nigerian mentality.
No, it's a black man mentality.
It's a black man's mentality.
It's not Nigeria alone. It is what the patronage that goes around. It is people. Once you assume office, the next thing that's going to do is your own person is going to. You don't look at credentials. You don't look at capacity. You don't look at you see. You too, you don't do. Me too, I go do.
But let me ask. But how do we balance it? In order to do the needful, you have to do the right thing as well. Understand your terms of reference when it comes to you occupying a particular position, and at the same time bringing one or two, because like you said, we are Africans. We work with emotions. These are the things that we are obligated to do. So how do we create that balance so it will be a win-win situation?
Okay, let me tell you one thing that you have to understand. When President Obasanjo was in power, if you look at his economic teams, they were not his tribal people or his village people. Okonjo-Iweala, a renowned economist.
Yes.
Soludo, a renowned economist. Are you hearing me? He brought these people. He also brought people who he knew that they can pioneer affairs of government. And they delivered. And today, Okonjo-Iweala is in the World Bank. After Okonjo-Iweala or Soludo, where the other one, where have you seen them? There are people who have very excelled within outside the shores of this country anyway. But how many people have you seen? He micromanage our economy in such a way that he only knew that the debt problem was a problem. So he managed in a way that he has to eliminate. He needed where we can just pay this debt at the same time so that we'll be debt free. We remove the burden that was in our economy. Then he will move forward. This is somebody who understands economics. But when you say everybody is an economist, obviously we agree. But somebody, so there's sometimes that you need someone who actually can assert authority and say let it go. And again, you must also have a president who is willing to give free hand to an expert. I will give you an example. We are all shouting here that the Minister of FCT is working. Is that not? Either you like, you don't like, either you don't shake your head properly.
He's working.
Have to shake.
Yes.
He's working.
Of course,
yes, because the president has given him the free hand. And because the president knows that he has the capacity to do it. That is why things are being delivered. It's not as if you just say, somebody will say, they was identified. I said, come, let's work. So that's why you see that he's the arrowhead of this government now.
So do you mean that other governors have not been given the free
hand? Exactly. Other governors have not been given the same free hand that we're talking about.
What does the
So you people now, your game now, you are conspiring so that they will come and arrest me. It will not work. It will not work. They are not working. I only said the one I see. Have I gone to any state?
You have a state. You have from the state.
If they are not working, because if they are working or they are not working, maybe they are working and they are not saying it for people to understand. Like, let me tell you something. After Minister Wike, maybe the next person you are going to talk about, if looking at what is happening, you also mention maybe Minister of Works, Umahi. Why am I saying so? Because at least, even if I have not gone anywhere, at least I can see the road between Abuja and Maraba. I know how it was and how it has been. I can see that is
to Minister of Works.
Yeah, it works. Okay. It's works. It's Minister of Works.
So the carry road is
carry road. It's no. From Maraba down to Makodi, it is the Minister of Works.
Okay.
That is doing the work. But you cannot see that you are asking me. You are saying, oh, that is because the publicity is not enough. This government is not, people are just, many things are happening, people are not saying it. They are comfortable remaining where they are because they don't even want people to even know what they are doing.
Then how will people understand and vote them back in when that's
a good soul of war? That is the same question we are asking.
Exactly.
Because if not, or Mahi, he's supposed to be on news every day.
Exactly.
But people think that we think it's
of course it's because that is the man.
Karu Road, that from the Karu roundabout upward.
No. From Karu Road, the one that is entering Karu.
Exactly.
That one does. You are seeing there. Yes. It is wicked.
Because I know that.
From the express from Maraba. Maraba, you know Maraba?
I know Maraba.
That where they have this bank around there. Wow. From that going to Maraba, going to Karu, going to Makodi.
That's
Umahi.
Are we talking from Nyanya?
Not, it's Maraba. Nyanya is different. Nyanya is in FCT.
Oh, okay, because
it's FCT. Okay. But from that Maraba up there is Umahi something.
Really?
Yes. So these are people who are working, but people are not saying that, and we don't even know who you can. Everybody is doing everything that is being done near Abuja now. Is accredited to the FCT minister. Yes, maybe the highway, the one that is going to Lokoja to this. Somebody was there for no, this one is not.
So let them create that awareness so we'll know.
You are a media person now.
But
so
you have to come out and
go and do them a proposal and tell them that you want to do what's the name tour of this thing. Maybe their press people are not doing well, or they are not paying them well. You see, it's money. You have to pay money.
Exactly.
You mentioned welfareism, and I liked that angle, welfareism, because this is what trickles down to the grassroots.
Yes.
How the poor man can smile. Because I was talking earlier with my co-anchor here, talking about the primary health cares in Abuja. It was still in the same Abuja that somebody died of snake bites, basically because she went to what's it called? One of the hospitals and wasn't given the proper treatment, or no anti-venom then in the hospital. So it is only somebody that is healthy, hale and hearty that can even use these roads. There are people that spend their years, their days, their months on the sick bed without any hope of survival. Our doctors are traveling out of the country because of poor welfare and all of that. Health, they say, is wealth. So at what point will we have reforms that would really target the health sectors in Nigeria? How can we even make it work as an economist that you are?
I don't know if I should answer this question because government will not pay me for talking for them. Because obviously this one, if we now go, it will look as if I'm doing work for them, but I'm not being paid. But since it is because you have asked me, I might be able to say one or two things, but not in details. Because obviously, if you talk about welfareism, you are bringing snake. Okay, somebody must die. This is there, and don't forget, Abuja is a rural environment. You see, the way you are we say Karu, and you think you are in town. Go to Kwali, go to Gugugu. Even when during that campaign, somebody was there who is not an indigenous person, was campaigning, shouting everywhere. There are villages that they cannot go to campaign. Because there are still villages in Abuja here, not Amako.
We have more
villages, smaller town. That the people don't even know what's talking about development.
Exactly.
Because there are things that they look at it. There was just time I'll be looking. Look at this cap in Amak. But if you sit down here, our life here in the city is superficial. So you think that snakes are not there. Snakes are everywhere now. Snakes are everywhere. So there's nothing before you can take them to that place to this thing now. Maybe if you say, because the priority of government, sometimes you might go to somewhere, like going to hospital, they say there's no oxygen. There's supposed to be oxygen. Somebody will have to die. Sometimes before they bring the oxygen, they've not. And the way we try to portray government, sometimes we portray as if nothing's been done. It's not always like that. Now, but you have not had the real question of the impact of these reforms. The impact of this reform at a macro level, the economy is more healthier.
At the macro level.
At the macro level.
Not at the micro level.
Are you hearing me? If you micro, then it becomes maybe they could allocate percentage.
Okay.
Are you hearing me? But the core masses are yet to feel the impact because one is because people, the cost of transportation is high, and government has not been able to address it. And food, you see, look at the magic they did. Rice was 100 and something naira.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, government just sat down one day and brought it to 15,000 naira. No, that is what it's called. That is welfare economics. Because you have to sit down. You have to sit down like you are trying to bring health. The health minister will have to sit down and look at how he has to do something about these mini hospitals that are
primary health
care. Because you have to give priority to it. If you don't sit down and say, okay, this is what I want to go out with. Today, if President Tinubu goes after 8 years, probably, people will remember him for one thing. They will say he removed subsidy. He was able to bring tax reforms. And generally, maybe somehow other things followed. But as a minister, you must be remembered for one particular thing. Don't allow one ministry to outshine you. In whatever you do in life, once responsibility is given to you, do it as if there's no tomorrow.
For responsible leaders.
You have to. If they give you something, it's like you give me something. There was a work I embarked on. I've never done that work before. But I had to bring people. And excel.
Exactly.
I excelled. It's not a joke. I excelled on that.
Understand the work, right?
But the political leadership didn't even like that.
That's what I'm saying. People who understood what it was all about.
Because if people you cannot excel, the people, you see, there are people who look at you now. If you excel now, you are doing well now, it's a problem to them.
Absolutely.
They don't sleep.
True.
They will cast and bind because you are excelling. That is a problem of this country.
People amongst the leadership.
People, you see, there are people who consistently are in churches and in other places are praying that the government of Tinubu should fall. If this government fall, is not the same order as suffering. Do you think after you have finished your prayers that this government should fall, do you think you are going to live? Do people live more than one day? They're not living now. Tomorrow is in the house of God.
Are these people amongst his cabinet?
I wouldn't know now. Are you trying to? I'm only giving a generic statement. It's a generic statement, so it's not as if it's his cabinet or something. It's just a generic statement. And what the purse of what people do, no matter how good you are, people will still want to condemn you. That is a problem.
Of course.
Yes.
But basically, let's look at all of these reforms by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's led administration. Do you think it will stand the test of time at the long run, basically? All of these reforms that we see here and there.
I'm afraid it might not stand.
Why?
Because the next president, if we are to go by, will be from somebody from another region. And
are you talking about 2027?
2031.
Okay.
After the president has done his 8 years. Because it's something now, does anybody stay in government for 4 years? Even the one we are shouting that, what's his name, that Goodluck Jonathan stayed for, he stayed there for 6 years. So technically he had only 2 years to go. So he has stayed for a very long time. But for you to say somebody is going to stay there, because the next person who is going to come might not look at the economic way President Tinubu is looking at it. He might just come and say, okay, his people, he wants fuel to be cheap. So he wants his people to go to farm. Or he will just say, okay, let's be giving people money. You just pay people for doing nothing. You create laziness. You create nothing. You just followership. And you create problem. Then people will be working, or you carry the money and give to other people to eat. That is the problem with this economy.
So several multinational companies have either downsized or exited Nigeria in recent years. What should the government do differently to retain investors while encouraging local enterprise? How do we balance it?
The multinational you're talking about, I wouldn't know why they existed. But that time that I was looking at it, most of them were like, after they invest in the economy and they are doing well, when it now comes for them to get the dollar, so they can move it out, the government don't give them. So your money remains in Naira. And when your money remains in Naira, there's nothing you can do with that money. Because your money must be convertible. So if they are looking for their money, so the business, it becomes very difficult because all of them, they buy things in. You still, no matter what you do in this country as a multinational, you still have to buy things in dollar. I was looking at, what is their name? China Forest Reserve. It's about $447 trillion. Not their own currency. Dollar, $447 trillion. So if it comes to that level, it means that we must show up our foreign reserve. When somebody needs dollar, when he demands for it, you should be able to get it. So if these multinationals are not getting their money, and you are looking, their money is in Naira, what will Naira do? Because they don't buy their products in Naira. So this is why most of them have to exit. And again, the environment, business environment. You have where, like you are into business. I'm a hotelier. The money I spend on diesel is alarming. Your every money you are supposed to get in a day is 50,000 naira.
I thought people have converted to solar.
Solar is expensive. No. Solar is more expensive. It's because people don't understand it.
Not to pull up initially.
You just talk about it. It's nothing in long run there because the battery might even in long run they might even go down. Don't be. These are superficial things, interventional in nature. Because if you say any serious economy will not depend on, okay, why did we have that shock? China that has selling the panels everywhere. Why didn't when there was a shock from this thing in this thing, crude oil sales from Iran? What happened? All of them started shouting now. Why didn't you do that? Things panels cannot do.
Yes, and they even use electric cars.
But you know the world is evolving, and there are innovations every single day.
We don't have the innovation.
Exactly.
So you think they are not using NEPA at all?
Well,
let them come on your program and say no light enters there, and they don't have diesel. Anyway, if they don't have, they're not giving me the generators.
Is that what you're saying? Because they clearly come out to say
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Let them see what they are. They decide to do it, and again, it might be the level of usage. They don't have factories in Aso Rock. You don't have factories there. What they have are more of accommodation, air conditioners, and stuff like security gadgets, which obviously they don't want light to go on. Solar panel can work, and they have. Look at how much was in billions for those solar panels. Okay, average a hotel that has 26 rooms, you need about 30 million.
For solar.
For solar.
30 million.
30. If you want it to take ACs and water heater. So you need about 30 million. So is anything cheap there?
I can give you cheaper options.
So nothing is cheap. If it was cheap, People, the Meccano and all of these generators, they would have gone out of business. Nobody would have been buying generators.
Maybe people are not so.
You see, this is demand and supply. Are they not selling solar panels everywhere? Why are generators still being sold?
Because maybe the ones that are selling it are still selling it expensive. I believe there are, relatively more.
Okay, so you go to China and bring them.
Yeah, exactly. You have such connection, why not? But let's touch light on empowerment. Recently, the first lady came out to say, people go and sell akara, go and fry, go and roast corn.
That was a misconception.
Exactly. No, let me ask him. let me ask him. So these are, according to her, it's just a way of, relieving petty traders and all of that.
Sure.
But I mean, the bulk of Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians saw it as, why are you advising this? Would you advise your mother? How would a mother sell akara to sponsor her? Yes, there's NEL fund, but there's a reality of writing JAMB. There's a reality of those that might not be qualified for NEL fund. There's a reality of secondary, primary institution that people have to go through. So even if you're looking at it as, you want to empower petty traders, it's still not enough in this economy. Except you're doing it on a large scale. How much does it take to start up an akara business, even at a petty trader level? It's not cheap. So there are different intervention schemes that have come from different administrations. Even this one, we had the Empower, that came, went. We have a lot of them that have still, come out, but somehow they are not lasting. What is that thing that the government can do to relieve indeed? Because when you're talking about relieving, if you are facing the north, for example, there is their own reality. If you go to the south, it's a different ballgame. People don't believe in making small. That's why most times they want to leave the country, especially the south. Some part of the east too want to japa, basically because they will not settle for less. So how do you empower such people with akara and kulikuli?
I don't know. I think you try to answer her, but she doesn't want you to answer. To drag me into the network. But I'm ready.
Okay, please.
Yes.
Go ahead. Unleash.
Yes, I can unleash. Let me tell you something. I cannot advise you to enter a business that you don't want to enter. Because they said there's opportunity for you to go and take fund and do akara, and that is not your passion, you will not excel. That is the same problem we're talking about. You're asking people go to take loans, they want to enter farming. They've crashed because they say there's money in what's the name of that bank, Agri Fund or Agri Bank or something. You don't go and collect loan. You now go there, collect money because people say they are entering farm. You go there, you go and farm. Rabbit will come and eat everything. You won't know what to do because that is not your field. So encouraging people to do business is good. You provide fund. But if you go and learn how to do akara and that's not your passion, you crash. I've seen somebody who does akara, and you see the way they do it. They package it. They do it with passion. they look clean. They look, because when they are walking around that they are fired, they do it with passion that you begin to feel as if that is what they want, as if they are made to do that. But if you give somebody who thinks it's a cause for him to do akara, so obviously as he's doing it, his mind is not there. He's looking for the next thing. He's looking at his intervention, what I can do now so that until the next one comes. If you look at akara as a business, before you know, you have to open a store. Before you know it, you have to open a place where people can come and take akara and akamu. Are you hearing me?
That will come with enlightenment.
That's what you call enlightenment, because
this person can just
because if you do akara, I've gone to akara place. You see that even the akara people are not there. They think it's their husband that is because their husband is coarse. That is why they are doing akara business. So no, but I said some, and I said you've gone to where you can see akara person who is doing akara, and the way she's taking herself with a lot of pride, with a lot of pride. Even you now said that you are a person, you can say, "Give me some, I want to." But it is not a business. It's a business that it's a multi-billion
akara business. Interesting.
No, you can become a billionaire.
Well established.
Yes, you say.
So I will have to come and meet you.
No, very simple. You don't need to meet me. I can even give you the lowdown there. You do akara. Make sure that your place is clean. Don't do it where everybody is going around. When you start, yes.
Let's say how much will we budget for that rent?
Let me not rent. You don't start by rent first. You start on the roadside.
Okay.
Then the government has just told you that you can get where you can do. What's the name? You can take loan. Okay, so are you hearing me? Are you willing for me? You're not paying me for giving you this lowdown.
I'm interested.
Yeah, and I'm giving you a new way how you can become a billionaire. Okay, in this akara thing.
Go ahead, sir.
Now, when you do that, you have to look for a small store. People will start coming. When they eat akara, they also want to drink akamu. Are you hearing me? Then you begin to attract. You have to look very neat.
How much will I sell my akara, please?
You said?
How much will I sell?
No. It's what you call is pricing.
Okay.
I don't have the details where you are going to get your where you are going to get your oil, how you are going to get your this thing. I don't have the details, but obviously it's something that can also show. But it will take all your program here. So maybe you should bring me for another program, because that business is a business. It's a multi-billion. You can become a billionaire through that.
Wow.
You don't understand. You say, let me tell you, the person who started KFC. What is KFC? KFC is just a place that fry chips. Chip and chicken. That's where you go. What is the big deal here?
But it is the branding first. In the branding.
It is branding.
To make money. You can start.
The government has given you, the global economy has given you free way to brand yourself now. Why are you talking like this now? You can go on Instagram. You can go on this thing now. You can even make money from that friend of akara, teaching people on Instagram how you can make akara, and people begin to subscribe to what you are doing, and Instagram will start paying you. Once you hit 10,000 or something, people will start paying you. You see, people are not thinking.
Let's delve into something else now. Let's delve into something else now.
No, I'll follow up.
Let's talk about these measures of hardship due to these reforms. What measures can the government put in place to reduce the hardship of Nigerians in the course of these reforms as an economist?
Well, what I've seen that is actually a big problem is transportation.
Yes.
Transportation is a big problem. And
due to fuel?
It's a fuel price. Another problem is transportation is a major thing. Then maybe job creation.
Unemployment
can create more jobs, and the digital space has not been harnessed. No, it's not been harnessed. Like now, I'm just telling you this thing now. Being on Instagram, hitting 10,000, they start paying you. The same to Facebook. People are craving. People are even craving to know how to do some certain things. I know somebody who can just sit down and start learning how to do. People can do afang soup now. without looking for a Calabar woman to come and teach you about soup. You do understand?
Food content creation.
This has some of those things. So this digital space has to be utilized properly. The government has to look, there's one Hausa man. I like watching his program on it's on the Facebook. When you watch it, he sells what's the name? This meat, this pomo thing that they do, and they do it in Hausa. So what they are doing, you want to watch it. I'm sure he has a lot of people that are doing that. So these are some of the, let people know that content creation is money now. Are you hearing me? This is job creation. And two, there are too many people who are waiting for government patronage. Just sitting down and...
So I want to just interject. Yes. When you talk about content creation, many people will tell you the internet, because of the unemployment rates in Nigeria, many Nigerians are taking advantage and making so much noise when it comes to content creation, portray Nigeria in a kind of bad light, some will say. Why would you include that in part of relieving hardship in Nigeria?
Well, I think because the government has not really spotlights.
This is because obviously maybe it's not their fault. It's what is disturbing them. So they go out of the abundance of heart, the mouth speaketh. So most of the content creation is only what is in their heart. If it is hardship, they will you don't expect to say anything outside hardship. So, and who is causing the hardship? Everything we view is government. So whatever happens to us, if they say, oh, it's Tinubu that is making me to, but obviously government should sit down and look at this welfare thing. Okay, you should look at welfare thing. Each Nigerian that like coppers, after they finish their copper, you should also give them, they should have automatic loan
to start up.
Automatic. Like each copper after finishing your service should be given at least 5 million, 10 million to start with. And but let them also have to sign an undertaking that they will not be looking for a job or anywhere again. They want to, those who can become entrepreneurs.
Oh, it's been an interesting conversation. I really wish we could go on and on, but I'm sorry, time is really not on our side. But we'll have to wrap up this first conversation. Thank you so much, sir, for taking your time to help us. I have really understood a lot from you.
Me too.
I'll still come for my Akara. But dear viewers, this is where we wrap up the first side of the conversation. We'll go on a quick break right now, and when we return, we'll return to the second segment of the conversation. Please do not go anywhere. Stay with us.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On global television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG. All right, you're welcome back to the second segment of Global Morning. And today we're just going to look at electoral malpractice. Of course, it is the illegal or unethical activities that undermine the credibility of elections. Now, in democracy, free and fair elections allow citizens to choose their leaders. However, practices such as vote buying, ballot box snatching, election rigging, intimidation, and violence weaken the electoral process. Now, the implications of electoral malpractice include the election of unqualified leaders, loss of public trust in government, political instability, increased corruption, voter apathy, and slow national development. It also weakens democratic institutions and threatens peace and good governance. Now, to reduce electoral malpractice, there should be strict enforcement of electoral laws, effective voter education, transparent election management, persecution of offenders, and active participation of citizens in promoting free, fair, and credible elections. Of course, my guest today is Prince Dickson. He is a human capital engineer, and it's all about democracy, implications of electoral malpractice in Nigeria. All right, good morning, Prince. It's great to have you on the program, Global Morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very fine. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being a part of the program. I'm not doing it alone. My co-host is here with me, Priscilla Obasi, who will be engaging you on this particular segment. All right, I'll start with my first question. For someone wondering, what is electoral malpractice and what does it entail when it comes to our democracy?
Well, I think first we may need to look at what I would call the tenets of democracy. Let's go back to the background. The background simply says, I think it was Abraham Lincoln also that reframed what has become the popular baseline for describing democracy: the government by the people and for the people. And so at the end of the day, it means that you're dealing with a system of governance or a system of government where there is a social contract between the people and those who lead them. But the understanding is that though we are a people and we are giving you the power and opportunity to lead us, we are the one that should enable you. We are the one that will authorize you to take decisions on our behalf. And so, and the process of making that transfer of power from 230 something million people to a few 100,000 person is what you call election. Knowing that not everybody will be in the same state house at the same time, not everybody will be at the same time, not everybody is going to be in the place of decision making and execution. The principle, therefore, is that let us enable people to take our decision. So election, therefore, is the transfer of power from the people to the people who now have been elected to take decisions on their behalf. Now, when the process of that transfer is dislocated, when the process of that transfer is corrupted, that is where the problem of election fraud, election malpractices begins to take an entire shape entirely. So if you understand that relationship, that it is the people that has the power, but they are giving it over to a selected few. But in the process of giving that power, something goes wrong. It means every other thing is going to go wrong in governance and even in nationhood. I think that would be the foundation I would lay.
When it comes to elections, I feel like Nigeria should have its own definition. Maybe that generic definition of democracy isn't really practical for us, because somehow we depend solely on INEC, who, of course, is also inaugurated or brought into power by a leading party, and somehow I really feel like the unbiased it's difficult to take away in that kind of situation. So INEC being empowered by a ruling party to come give a free and fair election sounds a bit ironic to me. So, and then we now go back to blaming the people for not letting the leaders when there are structures and systems put in place that will not freely allow people. That would hinder that freeness. For example, the people came out in recent times to talk about electronic transmission of results, which would indeed enable fairness. Our government says, oh, we don't have that system yet. It's not possible to give it to you. Knowing fully well that, Nigerians knowing fully well that the system is almost, the malpractice as a whole is almost a norm right now in our country. So how do we give a fair judgment of that to say the people, because most times we try to say people have failed, but in the real sense of things, maybe we have failed in knowing the knowledge, in getting the knowledge and being proactive on time to voice out. But if all things are equal, do you think it's fair to blame the people? How can we get it right indeed?
Okay, you're right. But my work teaches me to always look at things from a systemic perspective, not from an event, So first, to begin with, like you said, the definition. The question would be, are we going to change the definition of government, of the people, by the people? We have it because we're finding it difficult to bring and our value to meet it. I would say, because that is pointing in the real principle of things. It's like saying, is doing the same thing that's happening in JAM presently, where because people are having a good cut-off mark, you have to now reduce the window of selecting your good points so that everybody can have access to school. So number one, I do not accept that we need to change that definition. No, we have to keep it. Rather, that definition or that framing is like a reminder to us that this is where we are lacking. These are the mistakes we are making. And these are the things we are not doing properly. And that's why we're not getting the result we expect. Now, having said that, again, we tend to forget that governance is actually a continuum. I know in the morning, that whole practice a long time. Now, that for me is where I think also we are getting it wrong. Because first and foremost, the first question should be for me is, as a Nigerian, what is our value system? We have a very poor and highly corrupted value system. It is not to be with them. So we have we are doing in every strata of society. We have to ask ourselves this question.
Reception, Prince Dixon, the reception is really bad and we can barely hear you at this point. Hopefully you join us back again. Looking at this critically, talking about democracy, implication of electoral malpractice in Nigeria, you think it's a norm that it happens or it's just as it is? And you wonder when a particular candidate is declared winner and the opposition is not happy, we tend to go to court and we feel there is just something there that is not just right. We have to go and go through due process by going to court and all of that. Can we just
Everybody feels cheated.
Everyone feels cheated.
The loser feels cheated.
Exactly.
Almost all the time.
The loser. Can't we just accept it in good faith and be happy for the other party and say congratulations? Just like what happened during President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, his time with President Muhammadu Buhari, may he so rest in peace. What happened? And he came up and says the blood of Nigerians is not worth, his hands not worth the blood of Nigerians. So he said congratulations, and that was it. And people talk about that. It's an example. Well, many will still say they feel cheated, it's not right, it was rigged. All of these things encompass.
Well, the thing is, there's no smoke without fire, as they say. Sometimes you see the signs, you try to complain, because election is not, it doesn't happen, it doesn't start on the day of elections. There are pre-activities. There's the primaries, there's INEC, there's every factor, there's PVC collection, there's, voter apathy. All of these factors are what to consider. So when these things build up, like you have already noticed something might go wrong, and then you start to voice before the elections day. And the elections day come, nothing is done about it. I mean, it's fair for you to feel cheated. But if we are able to dot our I's, cross our T's before election day, and we know that on that election day, let's even say we're just dealing with vote buying, bad as bad. The cry will not be as much as today INEC has removed your name from the, or court has asked them to remove your name from the portal. Somebody has come out to say you did not hand over leadership to us. Just these pre-activities and exercises that comes up just before the elections is what makes a lot of Nigerians or maybe political aspirants feel cheated. But if we really have to do better, really, because what is free and fairness? INEC had said, okay, there's beavers. I tell you the truth, there are some polling units you go to and the beavers not working. It was on in this same Nigeria we saw on the internet people being distributed voters card to. Exactly. These videos, clips are being captured, put in the public space. Nobody says, let me investigate. Somebody comes out to cry, oh, my polling unit, we got this. I want to go to the collation center. The figures changed. These are not without facts, but basically nobody investigates to really find out what happened. Rather, you're told, keep quiet, accept it, you're the loser. So, let fairness, everybody be heard fairly, because it's part of democracy.
Exactly. I think our guest is back, Prince Dixon. Is he back? I'm sure he's back now because I saw a glimpse. But looking at this critically, okay, Prince, you're back.
In 1 minute, please.
In 1 minute because of our time.
I think basically what I was trying to, the mistake
all right,
we
I
are
think the
also
network is
making
playing a trick on us again. but basically, I think he has spoken well when it comes to underlining to us what democracy is all about. Okay, Prince, you're here. In 1 minute, please, because of our time.
I think we have to just correct our value systems. If we get our value systems right, other things will take care of it. We cannot always forget the entire value system of 230 million people, and then we wake up and expect justice and fairness during election. We treat election as an event. We forget that everybody that is going to go through the electoral process is a Nigerian. They have their value system. They have principles. They have things they believe is common. One of the major things that election malpractice does is that it creates what they call human national malpractice transfer. What basically that means is that the more people see election malpractice, the more people believe that you cannot get it right in justice. You cannot be sincere to get it right. You cannot be truthful to get there. So consistently, I see the older ones, corrupting the electoral process. Then the younger ones learn to steal at the point of their school. So what that means is that you have transferred criminality from a very an election high level, and then you have brought it down. So the senior, what you may call a generation, is teaching the generation behind them how to steal or how to take advantage of a system. So you cannot have a value system that is broken and then wake up one morning you want to have a good election system. I think that's where we are getting it wrong. Let's go back to value system. If our values are right, election becomes right. Every electoral process is by people, by human beings, by fathers, by mothers, and by aunties. If uncle and aunties are not sincere, how do you expect them to change?
Part of Global Morning. And of course, Prince Dixon is a human capital engineer. Thank you for being a part of Global Morning.
We're sure to read National Cake.
Yes, he's the founder of National Cake.
Okay, interesting.
I'm sure he's going to throw more light on National Cake one of these days when we invite him on the program. Thank you so much for being a part of Global Morning. Have an amazing day. All right, with that, we have to wrap it up on the program, Global Morning. Hope you've had an amazing time with us. Priscilla and I, we've been here and we've been, of course, we've been
discussing, bringing a lot to your table today.
Exactly.
I hope you've taken one or two out of today's conversation.
Exactly.
Thank you. It was amazing doing this with you.
I'm always amazing doing this with you, Priscilla. And of course, I am Jumai Manson and my beautiful co-host,
Priscilla Obasi.
And from Priscilla and I, we say bye-bye.